now.
So before that, can you tell a little bit about what is project management? Why is it important? And as a Scrum Master,
Right.
what are the
I'll try to. I'll try to do that, Anil. As usual, I'm trying to see where is the.
It's very cold in California. That's why it's wearing so much protection.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that is true, Anil. Okay, so my name is Sai Matam. I'm a computer software engineer. I am originally from Hyderabad. Now, of course, I am in a city called Pleasanton, which is a short distance, about 1 hour distance away from city of San Francisco, which is more widely known. I am a product of Osmania University. I studied in College of Engineering, Osmania University, the campus college, and my specialization is computer science. So after I graduated in computer science, at that time, there were not many alternatives or not many opportunities in software, let us say, in Hyderabad. Hyderabad had surprisingly only one or two companies, even that is a stretch. So I decided to go to Delhi, and I got a job in a company called Software Moguls. And the Software Moguls was very much ahead of its time. So they developed an based data backup and recovery solution. At the time, computer network itself was a term that was not known to many. Still, people were caught up in developing applications for offices within the office. Like either it was a simple application running on a desktop, or at the most you would have one server with 5 clients machines all sitting in the same room, in fact. So that was the state of the art. So this was way ahead of its time. And of course, initially we struggled, but later this company got acquired by a company called Legato in US, which subsequently got bought by Dell Computers. And people in the Sonic systems at the time, employees did not have stock options, especially the ones in India. But the other people, especially the founders, have made 40 million each. And they were featured in Fortune magazine also. And the company's products still survive. After all these years, they are still being used. So it's a matter of great pride and satisfaction to me to see that the software that I wrote is still being used. Later, I started working on Java and web technologies. in 1998. By the time web had become mature and ready to accept challenges, and we started web development. In about 1999 or so, in 1999 July, I went to US, and we continued working on web development. And I specialized in software performance tuning, that is to improve the speed at which the web applications run. So it is a very niche area. Not many companies devote time to performance improvements. Neither do they engage anybody to do it. So it is still a niche area. So, and in the process, I worked in multiple startups, Fortune 500 companies. I acted as a consultant, and all these years of experience, um, you know, I decided to share a little bit of what I learned during all these years with you. So you know, we decided that I would do some kind of share my knowledge about project management experience. So before we jump on, there is one final thing. I am a PMP certified, that is project management professional. I have that certification from Project Management Institute, which is very widely regarded in US. And at the same time, I also have a Scrum Master certification from Scrum Alliance. So before we get on to the talk, like Anil, Dr. Anil suggested, what is a project? So um, project is a temporary endeavor undertake to create unique products and services. So there is a separate term if the same set of actions is being done day in, day out. There is a separate term for it, and it is called a program. So we differentiate this project. It is a temporary endeavor. That is, it's got a time box. It has got a very specific start and very specific end. And within this, we have a unique goal that we have. And, earlier it used to be a project is a unique and temporary endeavor. Now they dropped the word unique, but you can still add that for greater context. Project is, each project is unique in some ways. If it was already done before, it still has its own uniqueness about it. So I come from the world of software development, wherein the project is more like a new project or a new product discovery rather than repeating what you have done in the previous project. There is an element of innovation built in or expected as a part of the project. Now let us come to the So before we jump on what is Scrum, the project consists of initiation, that is how the project gets started. Then you come into the design or a design phase. Then you actually execute the project. And of course, you try to test. And only then you either deploy, in our world, it is deploy, or start using it. So this Scrum comes into the execution phase. It's more of a thing that happens during the execution. So Scrum is an agile framework, and it is used to manage. What is an agile framework? So in previously and still in certain areas, let us say for construction, let us say you have a project, it is still managed this way, wherein each phase leads to the next one. That phase leads to the next one. So it's like what we call as a waterfall. Once the water falls from one step, it doesn't go back. It just keeps going on till it reaches the very end. So earlier models are waterfall-based models, whereas Scrum is an agile framework. So some of the key features of Scrum are iterative development, team collaboration, frequent feedback loops, and continuous improvement. So we have to stress the fact that it is iterative. That is, it goes through design, develop, test, and at the end of it, it can even again go back to design stage again. At any given point, you can always jump to the previous stage or any of the previous phases. So that's the most important. So right now, it seems natural and accepted that this is so, but earlier on, about 20 years ago, this was not accepted, right? And comes to team collaboration. Team collaboration is super important here. Earlier, now you may have grown up where team collaboration was the accepted way of doing things. But now you would wonder what happened before these 20 years. Team collaboration seems such a basic stuff, right? Why am I emphasizing it here? So earlier on, we were documentation oriented. That is, I'll talk from the software development world. So there used to be a product team. They used to write the requirements and specifications. This is how I want it. And then literally they used to give the set of documents to the development team. And okay, now I have passed it on, now you develop it. And there was no communication between the developers and the product team. So what we used to call as throwing the documents above the wall. So there is a wall between the product team and the developers, and they literally wrote the requirement document and threw across the wall. Right? That's how it used to be. Whereas Agile, I mean, Agile and Scrum, Agile, what it promotes is team collaboration. And not only are they collaborating, to state in a different way, there are frequent feedback loops built into the process. At every stage, you are communicating the process progress with the rest of the team. And product team is considered part of your team. It is not something different, unique, or it's part of your team. You're all collaborating together to achieve a common goal. So that is a very, very important aspect. And continuous improvement. So Scrum does not say this is how things are done. It's just a guideline. Think of it as more of a guideline. So people follow Scrum because they like it. All the employees follow Scrum because they like it. Nobody is forcing them to use anything.
Can I ask something?
So, yes, sir.
This Scrum, is it a program or is it a course, or can the students go ahead? Is it a open source or is it a software? Suppose, for example, they want to start a small project of their own. So this Agile,
Yes.
is it a open source or simply log in and work on it?
So Agile is a movement that came about, and it is a set of processes. I mean, it's a set of processes to be followed by everybody.
So what
It's basically a mindset.
correct. So what I'm
So,
trying to say is it's not a program that they can just feed in data and some deadlines, some schedules will come about.
no, absolutely not. Correct. Agile is not software. Agile is not, anything. It is a framework
The
or
mindset.
a process. Maybe actually, instead of the word framework, I could say it's a process. And it is open source. Anybody can use it. Nobody has a claim to it. And there is a organization called Agile Alliance, and they also have Scrum Alliance, which are like open source organizations. And they have frequent meetings, including in India. So every once in a while, 2-3 months, you have these meetings, which the members attend and learn. So even before we begin Scrum, Scrum is supposed to be a very lightweight framework. At any given point of time, people are not stuck to saying, oh, what should I do? The process is so simple that it will be very apparent to you as to what you are going to do. And like I said, one more time, this is not forcing you to do anything. Rather, it gives you more of a guideline. And every team is unique. They've got some unique challenges and unique way of working. So this process adapts to the unique situations. And that's how the word continuous improvement comes about. So the team is constantly tuning the mechanism or the Scrum process to suit their needs.
Sorry,
Now,
Sai, we got 20 more
yes.
minutes.
Oh, no problem, Anya. So what are Scrum roles? So Scrum has three roles. One is a product owner, second is a Scrum Master, and the Scrum team. So product owner has to talk to users, he has to do some market research, or basically the product team. They interact with that and then they generate a list of things that we need to do, or the project goals and what are the requirements on it. Now, Scrum Master, on the other hand, he is an expert and he knows the processes of Scrum. So he conducts something called as Scrum. Think of him as a traditional world project manager. He is the one who's controlling everything and making sure that things are happening. And if the development team have stuck or if they have any problems or issues, processes or anything, he is going to relieve. Scrum team obviously are the people who are doing the work in the items of the project and getting things done. They are the worker bees, basically. Now, as I mentioned, product owner, product vision, and something called as a backlog. Backlog is a list of things that you want to do. So prioritizes the work based on value. What this means is he will select. So there are 100 items that you want to do. Obviously, you cannot do all of them uh, in one Scrum. So before we go, the Scrum has something called as a sprint. So the whole journey, you can think of it as an athletic track. You start and then you keep on going. So think of it as a relay race. Relay 1, relay 2, relay 3, relay 4, like that. We got 4 segments. Think of it that way. So each segment is accomplished using the concept of a sprint. So the product owner is responsible to select the topmost, most priority items that we need to do, and he will allocate it into the sprint. So there is a product backlog, which consists of all the items you want to do, from which you picked a few and you put it into sprint backlog. When you put stuff into the sprint backlog, that means you're going to work on it in the next Scrum. Next, we will come to the Scrum Master. He is the one who is the inwards of, he is like a traditional project manager. So he will conduct something called as a daily Scrum. So the daily Scrum is all the people, all the development team, product, everybody, a Scrum Master, everybody comes together in a single conference room. Typically, they are standing because we don't want people to sit down and get relaxed and settle down and then have a long meeting. So this is nothing like that. If people are standing.
In a jovial way. In a
Yes.
jovial. Why are they called scrub masters? Because scrub in English means something that you wipe off the floor or something.
No,
Scrum.
they are scrub. That is scrub. This is scrum. Scrum actually comes from the sport of rugby. In rugby, before they actually
I think we lost you, sir. Yeah. Yeah, you're on site.
Okay, sorry about that. Um, so Scrum is coming from the word, from the sport of rugby, and you see that happening even in the cricket world, when all the players come together, form a circle, and they give the final
Maybe
motivational whatever jai ho or
a
whatever,
huddle.
and then
Sides.
huddle. Yeah, huddle. So huddle in the rugby is called scrum. Okay,
Good.
so now the Scrum Master removes he removes all the obstacles. So when I say the word obstacle, let us say I come from the world of software, so you have to bear with me. So let us say your server crashed. The Scrum Master is the one who is going to do a new server. Then you say, I do not know how to write some JavaScript program. I do not know. Then Scrum Master is the one who will make you, make that available. You may say, I do not understand accounts, whereas I need to do accounts for this requirement. Then he will arrange a meeting with an accounts expert, subject matter expert. Essentially, whatever your obstacle is, he will try to remove it. And then he serves as a coach to the team. And if anybody has some confusion about the process itself, he acts as a coach. So the Scrum team itself is a cross-functional team. That is, all the people who are needed to do the project are in the team. So this is important because there is no jumping across the boundaries and getting stuck in the red tape. They all collaboratively they work and then they solve the problem. The Scrum has got certain rituals. We call them rituals, but it's more like processes, you could say. First is called the sprint grooming. So grooming is the act of selecting what the items you're going to work on. If there are 100 things you wanted to do, obviously you cannot do all of them. So you pick a few, and like I said, each sprint is time boxed. Typically, the size is about 3 weeks. So you pick whatever you can do within the 3 weeks. And then Scrum Master conducts a daily Scrum. We will see what is daily Scrum in the next slide. And then once a project is done, after a series of sprints, the project is done, then the Scrum Master does something called as a sprint review. Then basically it's retrospective. That is, what went well, what did not go wrong, how can we improve, and whatever findings are there can go back into the continuous improvement and into the feedback loop. And the act of uh, Scrum, the actual act of Scrum is very simple. Um, Scrum consists of a daily meeting, like the huddle, as Anil puts it, daily Scrum. Um, Typically, early in the morning before you start your workday, the first thing that you do is the Scrum. So every team member, comes into that meeting and has three things to say. What have I done? What will I do? Any blockers? That's it. Only three question mantra. What have I accomplished yesterday? What will I do today? And if there are anything stopping me from doing it. And obviously, if he says there is anything stopping from doing it, then obviously Scrum Master will make a note and then he will attend to it later. He will not solve the problem at the same time. Unless it's a super simple one, he will not solve it. He will try to typically solve it later. So after this series of Scrum sprints, you have the actual project is complete. So, so one thing is there is a list of, as I said, there is a list of product items in the case of, in the case of Scrum, nobody is going to micromanage. So if you have not done your work yesterday and you have to come to the meeting and say, I have not done anything, I slacked off yesterday, right? Obviously, other team members will make out. Then you come to the meeting and say, dog ate my homework.
Yeah.
People will figure out what is happening. So whether you work in the office and sleep or whether you work remotely and sleep, the minute you slack off, people will know. And it is very, very important. So that's the beauty of Scrum. So I don't know if I was able to communicate the whole process because I have mentioned various things in various times. Let me just illustrate with one final way for touch and repeat the whole thing. So basically, the product team has a list of items that they want to do. It is called product backlog. And the Scrum and the project consists of a series of things called milestones called sprints. That's how it's organized. Each sprint is about 3 weeks. So again, depending on the team, the size can be tuned, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever makes sense. So typically 3 weeks is chosen.
Sai, I think
And
it was quite illustrative. So can you take some questions?
yes, sure.
Questions, please come here so that we can see your faces. Okay, let them think about a question. For example, I'm asking, let's say most of my students come from non-computer science background. So can they become Scrum Masters and is there a career for them in being a Scrum Master?
Yes. So Scrum is important from both aspects, whether you are a Scrum Master or not. You need to understand Scrum to survive. So that is it, it's basically the way 80% of the projects are conducted in the modern world. So you need to understand the process of Scrum in either case. And Scrum can be applied to anything. So some people have even applied this process Scrum to wedding also. So you may be finding that interesting.
Which one, sir? I did not get you. They applied it to
Weddings.
weddings. Okay, fine. Yeah, yeah. Especially the fat Indian weddings, which go into 3 crores, 5 crores nowadays, I think.
Yes. So they're being applied to that also. Right.
So, quickly, I think you can ask any question is okay. If you have got any question, you can ask me, I'll ask him if you feel that. What typically, how much would a Scrum Master course cost in India, sir? If they have to do it offline and online?
I don't know, Anil. It would be around, I'm guessing 60,000 rupees.
Offline.
And yeah. So initially, don't get certified Scrum Master because it does not make much sense. But when you start working at about 2 years of time, then it will be more meaningful to obtain this certification.
So is a Scrum Master, being a Scrum Master, part of PMI certification, or both of them are separate?
Both of them are separate. But interestingly, both of them realize the importance of each other, and Scrum has now joined the Project Management Alliance. So now they are going to become one in the future.
Is there a possibility of integrating enterprise solutions and Scrum, like SAP?
Yes, SAP is a software, and
Yeah.
Scrum is the methodology by which they produce the software.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. One student has got it.
Sure.
Good day.
Yes.
Yeah. How much do basic salary postcomers in India? How much do get they paid?
I'm not exactly aware of these salary numbers, but typical Scrum Master, like I said, you can do a Scrum Master to show your interest that you're being interested in being a Scrum Master, but typical value comes after you work for some time.
Are there
Typical.
Are there any threats of AI in this field?
Not in the Scrum field. Scrum and AI, no. But you can use Scrum, you can use AI in other aspects. You can use AI to come up with items in the backlog, or to select items in the backlog into your sprint backlog, right? So I'll explain in the words of Hyderabadi. I am a Hyderabadi, so I'll explain in terms of Hyderabadi. Product backlog is like a big bowl of biryani, right? The big anda hota hai. Big anda, that is like that. Whereas you take a small plate and take a small scoop of that biryani and put in your plate, and you select pieces of meat and other things and then put in your plate. That is your sprint backlog. So that's the difference. Product backlog is a list of all the things you want to do, whereas sprint is what you will do in the next 3 weeks. Yeah, you can always be a CSM. One of the main aspects is do research on popular job sites, maybe Naukri.com or someplace like that. Just do a research and look at the job descriptions. He will typically ask for many years of experience when you are a Scrum Master. So that would be a good clue as to what will fly.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Welcome.
It's okay. There's no six out. Go. He's outside. Sir, we need to reply this. Go. When we see them waiting. Okay, that's it.
What is the if we learn this
By a girl called Sahiti, she has got a
Yes,
question. She says,
sure.
I'm basically from sales and marketing. How
Okay.
does learning Scrum or project management help me?
Sure. So Scrum has been helping uh, people across the industries, wide variety of industries, not just software. It can help in sales also. Let us say you want to transform your sales organization into a different methodology. You can then structure that whole process into the Scrum. Like I said, this is a project. So now every project will have a start and an end, and you have a project goal. What do you want to achieve at the end of it? So that would be, if you have any such thing, that would come under Scrum.
So as
You
I
want
understand,
to,
Sai, project Scrum is more a huddle in the morning, and it is a sort of a philosophy that makes people be on their toes because you're meeting almost on a daily basis and you're explaining what has been done, what you have to do, and a sort of a uh, like we have the Japanese system of whenever there is a problem, they stop and immediately
yes,
discuss Kanban.
exactly, Anil. I'm glad that you made the connection. So the lean software movement,
Yes.
the Zen and yes,
If you
Kaizen.
remember, when we were in US, we had visited the Toyota, and there was this continuously bell ringing. And I think
Correct,
it was Pranav who asked why is the bell ringing. So that Japanese guy explained that whenever a bell rings, everything stops, and that problem that arises has to be solved immediately. So
correct. Perfect. Kaizen it's called. Yeah, that's what it is.
okay. So anybody else before? Thank you very much, Sai. I think it was very informative. So I've recorded it. I'll put it on the YouTube maybe.
Sir, I have a question, sir, if
Yeah.
you don't mind.
Sure, please.
Yes, right.
Sir, from online, Gopi Sai Sri.
Yeah, Gopi, go ahead, Gopi. Yes.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
This girl is
Good
asking
morning.
from a remote location, sir. She's also
I
messaging.
see. Okay, go. Okay, good morning.
Well, sir, actually, Scrum is about managing and it's about cross-functional and all. So I'm from a marketing background and I will also have a team lead. I'll also have a manager who will be training us for cross-functional and all. So how this Scrum Master will help there specifically? Because I'm already into all these things, I can manage everything. Then why it is required for a Scrum Master there?
Correct. So one thing is the Scrum is very collegial. That is, it's all collaborative stuff. People are not talking about designations, but they are talking about the roles. So there is a small difference when you're talking about designations. You want to make sure that nobody else steps into your territory, right? You're guarding your territory. Whereas in Scrum, you are marketing because you have knowledge about marketing. So your knowledge is being respected there. And you're collaborating in a team, and that's your role. So traditional structuring, what happens is, let us say there is a need for marketing something. It has to go to the marketing vice president, then it go to the director, then it comes to the manager, then it comes to the actual marketing guy, and the information again goes back like that. So there is a lot of impedance, there is a lot of problem, there is a lot of mismatch, right? Whereas
Hierarchy.
here we are all together, and then things get done quickly.
Sai, if you may, I'll give you a example for Gopi Sai. See what happened during the Delhi metro. Everybody thought that projects in India will take 8 years, 10 years. E. Sridharan set a timeline and he finished it 250 days before.
Amazing.
And everybody was shocked, saying that you're a government organization, you're government of Delhi. How did you finish it 250 days ahead? He was also following a concept called as a reverse clock, where the clock used to it used to give the deadlines in a reverse way. And I'm told he was very strict about this project management, that they have to meet every day. And it is not about fault finding. It is about how do we improve the systems and how do we become better and better. Because especially in a project like Metro Rail, a day saved is maybe 10 crores of money saved.
Absolutely, and absolutely. And one more thing, like you said, Scrum makes the whole thing transparent, open. So in traditional world, what used to happen is each phase was for a few months. I'm doing design. Don't bother me. Okay? We don't know what is he doing in the design. We cannot ask him.
Doubt cleared, or you still with the same doubt?
Pardon?
Well, sir, I'm in a dilemma actually.
So what we'll do is you can take this offline. I'll give you Sai's email ID, and if you have, you
Yes, sir,
can
done.
chat with him offline, because he's available, and I'll give you his number also, and you could take it offline, and maybe you can be more specific in your doubts. Maybe put it down as an email or something, and I'm sure Sai will get back to you, and I think you can have a discussion offline. Yes, yes, Sai.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
No, actually, what this question is about, Anil, this question is about organizational structure.
Okay.
Essentially, are you a project-oriented company, organization, or is it a functional organization? So what she's talking about is a functional organization where marketing is under a function and marketing will have a head. Whoever project needs marketing, they will collaborate with this team and then get done. Whereas a project-centric organization, each team members from various disciplines will be pulled together into a project team. So that's the difference.
Yeah, I think
Scrum is a project-oriented.
Gopi, I think what Sai sir is trying to say is project management runs in organization which are matrix oriented, where different people from different departments come together. And sales and
Correct.
marketing usually are more straightjacketed and they're functional. So, but it can also be done this way. For example, you're setting up a new office, let us take in Karimnagar. That setting up and running that organization, that particular branch can be taken as a project.
Correct.
You're getting the point, Sai, Gopi Sai? I think she's.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Sai. I think it was a very enlightening session for everybody, including me. I think.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So I think we'll take a leave now, and maybe I'll share them your mobile. Sorry, not your mobile number, but your email ID, so that if
Sure.
anybody has any further clarifications or anything, they'll get back to you. Thanks, Sai. So
Sure.
are you all set for Trump's return?
I know we are all waiting. It's all, yeah. Of course, people had 1 month of time to digest the whole thing. So we are all waiting. So
Okay.
tomorrow is the
All the best.
actually day. Okay.
Thanks, Sai.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, students. Thank you.